Hello, everyone.
How's it going, everybody?
All right.
Greetings, everyone.
What's up?
Greetings.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Greetings.
All right.
Hope you guys are ready for this.
Hello, hello.
Hello. All right. Just looking at the names. Who do we have here? This fun. A lot of guys named iPhone. There's my boy Keith.
What's up, Keith?
What's up, buddy? He's muted.
What's up, boys?
Hey. We got 86 and counting. Not too shabby. We'll begin in just a moment, guys.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello. Is that the professor?
No, I'm not.
One of his guys. What's up?
Hello. Sosanans. Yeah, Sosanians.
Go Cowboys.
Sosanans, I went through that, trying to figure that out myself, and it sounded like termites. So I went with Sosanans.
How about Sosoniacs?
Better than parasites, I guess.
Sosoniac.
Hey, Sosoniac.
Right.
I like that.
Hey, that is.
Like that.
Sosaniac.
That is good.
I'm so glad I thought of that.
Sosoniac. All right. Let's get something. Who said that?
Dr. Hakeem.
All right. Dr. Hakeem.
All right, we're at 97. We're almost at 100.
You like this cucumbers? Uh-huh.
We
will be recording it, Steve Boone. We will be recording it, so we'll start the recording when Dave's ready. Just you can push record.
Well, getting there. I'm just going to wait for the beeps to slow down for a minute, let everybody get in.
Yeah, give everybody a chance to kind of settle down a little bit. Welcome, everybody. All you lucky people out there, welcome.
I'm glad I boosted this to over 100 people.
Yeah,
Enough attendees.
Evidently took him 3 days.
Recording in progress.
Hey everybody, this is David Track, and welcome to Sosana's very first Founders Call. So I'm going to call this the Founders Call because everybody who's here right now, technically during that sign-up period, that 48-hour period, is guaranteed a founder's position with our company, which we consider a very powerful position in the company. You will, for life, be a premium member and have full access to everything with only one payment. So I feel sorry for the people after you, but at the same time, getting in first or something to be said about that. But I think the potential here is going to keep going on long after I'm here. I think that we're going to change the world, and we're going to change crypto first and foremost. And so that's kind of how this whole thing started anyway. And I'm going to make sure I can mute. Is everybody muted here, Mark? Can you see?
it appears so, yeah.
So this has been quite a journey. I'm not going to take up too much time to tell the story, but many of you know that we had launched at one point back in March of this past year, and we were up and running for just about a full month. And then we found out the hard way that our dev that we had hired was part of an elaborate scam organization out of Serbia and managed to drain the company while it's affecting everybody. And the fact of the matter is, it turns out it was a blessing in disguise, because the community that I was building was nowhere near as robust as it is right now. I mean, it is something that I've wanted the whole time, and I was trying to push it through, but the timing was happening before we were really ready for it. And to have everything in place so that we can scale the infrastructure properly for future phases and build-outs was really essential to happen. And it feels like it actually happened for a reason. As crazy as that sounds, it was happened early on before we were big enough that we, could really devastate us. But the good news on top of that is now we've arrived, right? This is it, guys. This is something that fills the void in the crypto space, which started as sort of a parody site that we were kind of making fun of. I came up with this shiny object syndrome and nothing accomplished as a acronym for Solana, because Mark Ross and I had been doing all kinds of investments and nothing was working, right? All these great projects that should have been working were, falling by the wayside to new things that had no real intrinsic value, no real thought, and it was just way too much of a supply and not enough demand. And, I figured that if we could kind of cauterize the bleed out of the industry that was happening with way too much supply and create an ecosystem where we could all kind of connect together, lean on each other, and not have that shiny object syndrome. If we can stop the largest blockchain, I would say the sixth largest, right? Solana, I keep want to call it Sosana now, but Solana is the sixth largest token out there. If we can cauterize that bleed, it would allow all of the altcoins to have the kind of bull rally that Bitcoin has been having. And I think that, this is the impetus of what we have here. And I just want to let everybody know that we've got a few members of our core team. There's Mark Ross. There's Brian Lyles. Mark and I have gone back. I've known Mark for the past 20 plus years. One of my closest friends in the world. We've done a number of different businesses and projects together. And, just an amazing guy. And I'm glad that he's part of the team. We've got Brian Lyles, who I've been working with for a number of years now as well. Not nearly as long as with Mark, but what an outstanding guy. What a big brain on Brian, and he's been able to help us in the network marketing part of what we're doing here, the affiliate marketing. And let me, if you're not muted out, if you could mute yourself out, and we'll bring you in for questions at some point. But Brian is a sought-after speaker in many network marketing companies, a leader in network marketing companies as well. So the leadership here, we're all very connected to network marketing. I used to operate a social network called MLM Social. Many people know of that social network. I took it down about 2 years ago because of DDoS attacks on the site, but it helped me to understand how to build out a crypto community that pulls some of those features and benefits that I used in MLM Social. But I'm going to stop talking. I know that Mark is getting ready. He's got his son's playing in a baseball game. His son's a college star, and I know he wants to spend time watching his kid because his family's in town. Not to rush this call, but I want to give Mark the floor so he can start speaking and sharing, lots of good information with you guys. So, Mark, why don't you go ahead and say hello?
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Mark Ross. I'm also co-founder. So you've got David Track at the helm. And one thing I can tell you about David Track, if you want to know a little bit about him, he's not going to tell you it himself. He's one of the hardest working guys you'll ever meet, but he's also very intelligent, very innovative, very creative. So, he came up with this amazing meme coin concept. Initially, he calls me up and he says, Mark, I've got the perfect idea for a meme coin. And he and I, as he told you, have been round and round with all these different meme coins and investments and even good projects that we just can't figure out why they can't get any headway, right? But we realize the industry, and we look especially the Solana ecosystem. So we're looking at it, and he goes, it's going to be called Sosana. And it's going to stand for shiny object syndrome and nothing accomplished. And I said, dude, that's freaking perfect. Because here's the thing. When it comes to a meme coin, one of the main things that make it very successful is relevancy. Think about that. All of the different meme coins out there, most of them that have been really successful, they have a kind of cult following because there's something very relevant about it. If you take Dogecoin, people love Doge because it's about dogs and there's dog lovers all having a good time. And, they realize, well, Doge really isn't much different than Bitcoin, but it's just called Doge, so I like it, right? So you have these huge followings that it creates, and we knew when we were talking that Sosana would create a following because everyone can relate to it, right? Everyone has been scammed. But then David did an incredible job of putting the website together, making it funny, making it entertaining. He's got that little Rick and Morty cartoon that he put together, which I couldn't even believe he got done. When he put it out there, I said, dude, this thing's going to freaking go viral. There were people that weren't even in crypto watching that video, just like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So we know that we know how to attract the masses. David is an expert at attracting the masses. He's an expert at relating to people and knowing how to be very creative and intuitive in that regard. But then one day I called him up and I said, dude, I think not only have you, exposed the problem and made a joke out of it, which everybody loves and we think is funny, and man, we could just blow it up with this meme coin. But what if we could actually solve the problem? So we put our heads together and we came up with an idea to create a community hub, a community where there's kind of like a safe haven, where the concept would be we would allow people to nominate their favorite projects on the ecosystem in the Solana ecosystem, but also to vote on those projects in the community so that there's strength in numbers. That means the bigger the community gets, the better the voting outcomes will be, where the cream will kind of rise to the top. And we figured that what would happen, and what we already proved it, is that these nominated projects from the community would be forged through an election process, which would bring out the most quality projects to the community, giving people that safe place to just find really quality projects where there's strength in numbers. That's what it was about. And so we brought that to the table. Then we brought out this idea of a transaction tax. And let me tell you something, I don't like taxes any more than anybody else. But when you have a transaction tax that actually rewards the community, then it starts to make sense, right? Well, the problem is, and a lot of people thought, all these meme coins, believe it or not, there's literally thousands of projects per day popping up on the Solana ecosystem because Solana is so scalable, so user-friendly. That's why it's become, actually, Dave, the number 5 project. It just recently passed up Binance. And so it's the number 5, at least last I looked, maybe it's back to number 6. I'm sure they're going to switch back and forth, but it became so successful also because it's incredibly user-friendly and the transactions are virtually almost free. I mean, they're pennies, right? And so because of that scalability and that speed and that low transaction cost, the downside of that is it brought in everybody and their dog, right? That they can create their own meme project. So you can, I mean, if you go to Pump Fund, it might be 40, 50 bucks and you can actually create your own meme coin, right? So people are just throwing in all these projects and new investors, especially new people to the industry, but even the experts are looking at it going, man, I don't even know where to start. It's a crapshoot. So this Sosana concept came about very easily, very relevant, right? But what we brought together with it is this 3% transaction tax. Why? Number one, because inside that Solana network, you see these trading bots. Many of you may not be familiar with that, but I'm sure a lot of you are familiar. If you look at the order book, if you look at what's happening in the order flow of these decentralized exchanges, maybe you go on to Radium and then you go to Dex Screener and you're looking at all these order flows to see what's coming on. Many of you have probably noticed, oh, look, someone just bought $10,000 worth of this token. That's great. But then 30 seconds later, they sell it for $10,050. What's happening? The reason why is because the transactions are so minimal that these trading bots have really capitalized on these different coins. And unfortunately, they themselves have leached from these liquidity pools, which taxes the community. It creates a problem. So a 3% tax, what that basically means is that every time someone buys or sells Sosana or even transfers it to another wallet, there's a 3% transaction tax, which means the trading bots want nothing to do with it because it makes no sense to them to come in with $10,000 and try to get back out with a profit and lose $600 in the process. It's just not going to happen. So we've eliminated the trading bots, which will tax the community, number one. That's problem solved. Second problem is, again, too many projects. It's crazy. And all of these token projects think that, oh, look, no buy and sell transactions. What a selling point. Well, the problem is that not only are they being taxed, but they haven't found a way to really solidify their community. So 1% of that 3% transaction tax goes to liquidity, which helps the project. It feeds into the price and helps the project. Number one, lifts up the price. Number two, another 1% of that 3% will go to the marketing wallet, which is aimed toward helping us market, right? That's good for the whole community. It's earmarked just for marketing. The third reason,
if I can interject here, Mark, because it's changed a little bit. So at one point, we only had something set up for live tokens. During this
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, okay, but it's not 1%, right? It's a 0.5%.
Yeah, I was just covering the whole percent, and then I was going to cut it in half when we talked about that utility. That's what I typically do. Yeah, I was on it, brother. Don't worry. So basically, so it goes towards marketing, right? We're going to cut that marketing wallet in half for a particular utility purpose, which I'll explain in a second, okay? But I just want you guys to know where that 3% goes. The third one is something that's never been done in crypto history. This is where you want to take notes. Because what I just first described, yeah, there's other token projects that have done that to help solidify their communities. But the third one, this is what you got to pay really close attention to. And this is what feeds that 1% of those transactions goes into what we call the DGen voter bonus wallet. What does that mean? That means 1% of every single transaction that ever occurs feeds into that wallet. And what we've done is we've created this amazing, the most rewarding crypto reward that you've ever seen in any crypto project in history. And here's what it basically means. Remember, this is our utility. If you hold $500 worth of Sosana, you can then nominate your favorite project on the Solana network, okay? Because let's face it, the reality is 99.9% of those projects launching on Solana right now don't have a real good purpose. They're not a great project. But that doesn't mean there isn't some really quality projects. Our goal is to uplift those projects from our community where, again, there's strength in numbers. So people from our community that are holding at least $500 worth of Sosana will be able to nominate their favorite project on the Solana ecosystem. Then, if you hold at least $50, you're going to be able to vote for those nominated projects. Again, forging those nominations up into the most qualified projects through an election process. Hopefully that makes sense. Now think about that. We could stop right there and you could build a huge community with that because people would want to gather from all over the world and work within a community where they can actually start pre-qualifying some of these projects. A safe haven, right? But we take it another step. Remember, there's 1% constantly feeding into the DGen voter bonus wallet. What happens with that? Well, here's how it works. Remember, having a $50 to vote and $500 to nominate is an automatic staking mechanism where people just do it because they want to be a part of it. And nobody's going to want to be a part of Sosana in our community and not participate in voting. Here's why. You're going to be able to have the opportunity to earn an amazing reward. If you nominated a project that wins the vote, you're going to earn initially, as it stands right now, when we first get this started again, initially you're going to earn $500 worth of Sosana if your nominated token gets voted through this election process. Now remember, there is a 2-week, you might write this down, there's a 2-week process, a 2-week period where all the nominations start to come in. So if those people are holding it, they connect their wallet to the DApp, that's the decentralized app. They're going to connect their wallet. They're holding $500 worth of Sosana token. They can then nominate that project for 2 weeks. Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern is when all those nominations will be revealed to the community that's holding at least $50 worth of Sosana. So they're going to log in, connect their wallet, and they're going to vote for those projects. So from 7 p.m. Saturday to 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday, that's a 48-hour period where everybody's going to have a chance to actually cast their vote. And that vote, the winner, will be revealed Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? So everybody's going to be able to log in. Now, even if you didn't vote for the winning token, you're going to want to know who won, right? Because you're just going to want to see it. But if you voted for that winning token, here's where the magic happens. From 7 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday night, you're all going to know, everybody in the whole community is going to know the size of this reward wallet. And we don't know, at some point there's going to be a tipping point where that wallet is going to literally be able to move markets. Think about this, okay? But let's just talk about our first, and I call it this, and the professor out there, T. Lamont, he gave me this term, the beta version. And let me ask you guys a question before I even go any further. When's the last time you got to be a part of a project that was right at the beginning, but had already proven itself? That had already gone into place and proven its concept. Why? Because when we launched what I call the beta version, and most of you know the story, we got rugged by our own dev, and that's a I'm not going to get into all the details about that right now, but David actually mentioned that. For the first 2.5 weeks, we literally went from less than a tenth of a penny when we launched, all the way up to almost 19 cents in 2.5 weeks. So we proved this business model. We've already proven that people are latching onto this and we're loving it, right? But we did this with probably less than 200 people in our community. It was unbelievable. The loyalty that had come in. Our community is better than any other community I've ever seen up to this point. And so I want you to think about the fact that this concept is proven. This is not some theory. This has been proven. We literally had our first election. There were 13 projects that were nominated from our community that people nominated. And literally when we got through that voting process, there were just 11 people that voted for the winning project. Now I want you to think about a concept of what occurred in this small scale, I would say test, this beta version. What happened was people were only required to hold $50 worth of Sosana. And when they won the vote, we did about $400,000 in transactions during that first period. Out of that, close to $4,000 awarded those 11 voters that voted, because here's what happens. That voting reward wallet will go out at 8 p.m. So everybody's going to know at 7 p.m. who won the vote. And at 8 p.m., that wallet's going to actually purchase the winning token. Now think about this. Not only will it purchase the winning token, it's going to airdrop that winning token to everybody who voted for that winning token. So in our first test, we had 11 people that received about $370 to $380 worth of the token that won the election. Now think about how huge that is and what the implications of that is. Think about it. We had people that only needed to hold $50 worth of Sosana. Just $50. And they got 7 to 8 times the reward just for holding that token.
Hey, Mark, can you unmute yourself? There was a lot of background noise coming in.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Thanks, brother. I was wondering about that. So yeah, so think about this. I want to repeat. Think about it. There's going to be people. I know that stories are going to come out like this. Now, this isn't income projections, no predictions. I know I can't give you financial advice. That's not the point. But I believe there's going to be stories of people from third world countries, people in Turkey or Nigeria or wherever, right? And they're going to have a story that says, man, I've been a member of Sosana. I was holding $50 worth of Sosana. I voted for my favorite projects, and I've made like 20, 30, 50 grand with $50 because they built their portfolio where there's strength in numbers with these great projects, and they even voted for the winning projects, which means they built their portfolio in that case for free. They got a chance to get into these new projects, many of them new, some of them might even been around for a year. Who knows? As we grow, there'll be all kinds of tokens that are nominated, but they're going to have access to these projects through the community and be able to win the vote and earn these unbelievable rewards. Let me tell you something, folks, what I just explained to you has never before happened in crypto history. And you know what? You still don't even understand the synergy of what I just explained. Let me go on. Okay.
Well, let me add to this, Mark. Let me add to this. So it wasn't just the voters and nominators, right? We affected the lives of the owners of these token projects, right? They were hopping on calls. They watched their token soar like a hockey stick. So this benefits everybody, and there's lots of inherent benefits to the owners of projects. I wanted to jump into something else. So what? I don't want to interrupt you. You're on a roll there, but I just wanted to kind of bring it to some other aspects of the network. I mean, you're doing a great job, and I just want to jump into the fact that during this sort of what seemed like a hiatus, but it was, if you ask my wife, she'll tell you it was me working 24/7 around the clock, coming up with, putting everything together. And I'm taking a little bit of a breather now, but it's been quite a journey. But one of the things that we were in a conversation, actually was my buddy Sean said, "Oh, all this time I thought this was for pre-launch tokens." I said, no, it's for live tokens. I said, but I wonder if there's a way that we can do this for pre-launch tokens as well to kind of be a launch pad for them. So I came up with an idea to allow voting for pre-launch tokens as well. So if you've got a project, you know of a project that's that you think has potential, it's a way to kind of raise awareness through our platform. But the project owner will need to be vetted. They go through our kind of a KYC vetting process, and they end up with a directory page. They can be the token can be nominated, and that's a once a month voting, once a month nominating. So the marketing wallet that used to be 1% is now split in half. So we've kind of donated half of that wallet that we were going to be using for internal marketing purposes now goes into the pre-launch wallet, and that then gets paid to the voters of that winning pre-launch token, which is it's huge, right? So now we can kind of create synergy for these pre-launch tokens that deserve that kind of attention, and it just kept evolving into what I really truly wanted was a complete ecosystem where people can meet up and network with each other and feel safe, right? There's a lot of anonymous people out there that will take advantage of you in this world. I love the anonymity of crypto. I love the decentralization of it. I'm a huge proponent. That's why I'm in this space. But many of us who have spent any time in this space have gotten scammed, me included, right? It's hard. It's almost like your rite of passage when you're in this. So we have a way to onboard people quickly. We don't do any major backgrounds in anybody. There's no credit checks or anything. You just want to know that you are who you say you are. And then you can travel through our ecosystem with a verification checkmark badge next to your name, so that you know if you're connecting with someone, doing business with someone in our community, that they're a real person. And for me, just wanting to have a platform for myself that I would want to spend time with, that's a huge one. The other thing is, if you were to go up to, many of you that are on this call, there's about 148 people. Many of you might do crypto for a living. That's what I do. I know Mark and Brian and all of us, we're full-time crypto enthusiasts, investors. This is what we do, right? So even for those that are doing it part-time, you guys are still mostly you're a crypto enthusiast or expert, or you're just learning. But if you were to walk up to the next 10 people and say, what do you do for a living? I think the chances of them saying that they do crypto for a living are almost statistically zero. I mean, there's just a very small percentage overall that are actively involved in crypto. Of course, you meet them in groups like this or at events and things, but overall, they're intimidated by it, right? They hear about these rug pulls and these scams out there, and there's always that learning curve, right? When you first get exposed to crypto, there's that aha moment where it clicks and you get it. And we've all had it, right? It does no one just takes to it like water from day one. There's a little bit of a curve to get to, and for some it's easier than others. But I've got friends who are stockbrokers. They understand the market way better than I ever will, that are intimidated by crypto. They're like, just buy it for me, just watch it for me, and I'm like, nah, I'm telling you, it's easier than you think. And that really is sort of the impetus of how we developed the Sosana School, that is an educational platform. And it's really designed for the brand newbie crypto guy who doesn't even know how to download a wallet, completely intimidated by crypto, to even to how do you buy crypto, right? So we have ways to get them onboarded up to the person who would like to launch their own crypto project. So this is going to be, sort of the first of its kind, real true educational platform with instructors specifically trained on crypto and certified Sosana and Solana information. So there'll be certified instructors as part of our network. And everybody who is here that decides to join us as we go live will have the opportunity to become an instructor. In fact, anybody who ever joins even after the founders plan ends can come in as an affiliate, and that's your route to becoming an instructor if you would like to take that avenue. But by becoming a founder of Sosana, we had a limit of 1,000 members and 500 businesses. Now think of it as you can look at it as sort of a directory system or a social network or just a crypto community. But this is a directory-based system where we can kind of search and find each other, find people for local meetups and so on. But this is going to allow the networking capability to be able to identify who has the same kind of cryptos that you have, and then you can share in it. You can talk about the pitfalls, but it's all a way to create a secure safe haven so that you don't fall victim to the predators. Because if there's an opportunity for a scammer to scam, they'll do it, right? And this is the wild west still. So we become sort of a regulatory body, a self-regulatory body, allowing members, users of the network to complain about a crypto-related project. You can do it on any kind of crypto business that you feel has scammed you, or you have any kind of beef with, like you normally would, say, like a Better Business Bureau. There's a way to do that, and lodge a complaint here that we will mediate, and it'll be flagged, and so the the outfit that did the rug pull on our company would have never been able to do that in this environment, right? They would have been called out ages ago, because I'm not the only person they've done this to. This has been a pattern that they've done for a number of years. So and it wasn't necessarily designed because of that. This was the direction we were going to, which is the irony, right? We're sitting here trying to create a safe haven and an ecosystem for all of us to not be, sitting alone in our office in the middle of nowhere, connecting with people that we've never met in real life, and investing in projects that we think are the hottest thing, only to find out that it's going nowhere, or it was a scam all along. Here's a place where the cream of the crop shall rise to the top, right? Because people are going to want to vote for the projects that they believe in. They're not going to sit there and try to just vote for something that they don't care about, aren't passionate about. They're going to want the ones that are going to win because they can potentially make a lot of money. And we saw it happen, like Mark was saying, in the very beginning, with just relatively small number of holders. It was maybe a couple of hundred holders in Sosana. We had people that made a lot of money. I would say they made I guess it's all relative, but that money grew, right? We've had people that won different contests that we had, and that money turned to thousands of dollars, 5,000 if I'm not mistaken. I think I can call him out. I think Mr. Live at one point, his tokens were on a $500. It wasn't even $500 because it was the first place in Telegram, and that turned to over 5,000. But I say that because I don't know of any other project out there that has this kind of an ecosystem. Most places will say, hey, in Q3 and Q4 we'll have this. Next year we'll have this. But we're opening up our doors with all of these different, kind of money-making ecosystem, community-driven projects from day one. So, but I don't know, Mark, if you had more to add to that, and at some point I'd like to bring on Brian to say hello in a few words. Anyway, I'll bring it back to either one of you that want to. I know, Mark, you were still talking, so if you have anything else you wanted to add, since I kind of cut you off there, buddy.
It's all good. So yeah, so the thing is, what I want you guys to realize is the synergy that all of this creates, this utility, because you know that everyone has this incentive when they get into crypto. What's their goal? Is to make money, right? I mean, that's why they're there. I think we've created a kind of environment that gives people the absolute best chance to do that. Not that you got to come in and sell anything. Yes, we have this affiliate plan that we're going to be kicking off that is just going to pour gas on the fire. But guys and gals, we have proven that this thing can grow even without an affiliate plan. I mean, this thing is going to go viral. It's just a matter of time. But what we believe is this affiliate plan is going to pour gas on the fire and just make this thing go crazy. We have met and have been building relationships with some of the biggest leaders in the industry. And it's been so fun and even humbling in a way to be able to be a part of that. And I'm really excited to have every one of you guys here. I do like to bring Brian on because Brian, you do an excellent job of kind of adding to what I talked about in terms of synergy. Why don't you kind of explain to people too, tell them a bit about yourself, but explain to them the kind of synergy that this voting and nominating and reward utility can bring, and this tipping point, I call it a tipping point, that we get to where I think we're just going to inevitably go viral. Why don't you kind of get into that, Brian?
Awesome, Mark. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic, man. So first of all, thank you. You get me fired up, man. Every time you talk, every time I kind of sneak on one of your webinars and I hear you talking about it, you download a lot of information very, very quickly because you're very familiar with the story. You're rolling through it. Dave comes on board. He talks about some of the creation of this, and we know how hard he's been working. I mean, probably putting in some 20-hour days. So I don't know if I should say thank you to Dave or thank you to his wife for loaning him to the project. And kind of putting up with some of the calls in the middle of the night and some of the 3-minute discussions that turned into 2 hours. And I also want to recognize, by the way, I know Reggie Sullivan is on. I know our attorney Andrew is on as well. I saw them on the webinar.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so appreciate you guys being here. Other parts that are critical parts to this team that you will get a chance to meet on some future AMAs. But let me say this, because I like to do stuff in real time, and I know. While Mark was talking, he was going through and he's talking about the beta version, which I think he got that language he said from the professor. And he said, man, this thing went up to 19 cents and he was rolling. He was excited about it. And somebody who I know that's on this webinar who is very excited about the opportunity to earn some real money, but not very knowledgeable about crypto. I think that's a fair description of that person. But they texted me and they said, 19 cents. Why is he so excited about 19 cents? So I always want to make sure that people don't miss the point, because the first part of that the part of that statement was important wasn't that we went up to 19 cents. The part of that statement that was important was we started at a tenth of a penny. And if you understand that and you understand growth and you understand numbers, from a tenth of a penny to 19 cents is 190x, which means $10. If you had gotten in at the very beginning, $10 would have turned into $1,900. $1,000 would have turned into $190,000. That's 190x. So when you hear these things and you hear some of this excitement and you hear, hey, we went from here to here, the only thing you need to calculate is not even important whether it was 17 cents, 18 cents, 19 cents, 50 cents. The only thing that's important is the growth metric, right? And then you can apply to that. So if I just started with $100 at the beginning, and not everybody got it at a tenth of a penny, right? But that is where we started. So you can start to understand. And I see Keith Lacey shaking his head because Keith's numbers, were insane, turning a little, about 35 or $3,600 into almost $250,000. So you guys can start to understand, oh my God, right? Maybe some of you, it's just starting to hit you what's possible. And then you heard Dave just say that we had, he said a couple of hundred wallet holders, people who were holding Sosana. Guys, I think a fair estimate, I don't think I'm exaggerating if I say this right now, we probably have somewhere between 50 to 100 times. 50 to 100 times, not 50 to 100 more, but 50 to 100 times the amount of people who are lined up at the gates right now to be a part of Sosana than we had before. So you start letting your mind run away, because I don't want to give our attorney, Andrew, too much heartburn by what I'm saying. It sounds like I'm making guarantees. I'm not making guarantees. I promise you that. So I know this is being recorded, I'm not making guarantees. I'm simply saying that you can start to just use some of your own logic to start figuring out what's happening. So I'm going to say these real quick things because I know most people, and Mark said it there at the end. He said, listen, at the end of the day, most people are engaging in crypto right now in these days because they want to make some money. And let's face it, most people in their lives, regardless of if they're here right now, regardless if they're in crypto right now, but when it comes to anything involving business, their brain is set to the same radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? So let's get to that, right? Let's not just talk about all of our vision and why we're excited, right? Let's talk about what's in it for you, because there's a lot here. And this is kind of like when you see this, I saw somebody type in a message said, as soon as Dave said something about you could become an instructor, right away somebody said, hey, how do you sign up to be an instructor? Like that was the thing that zoomed into them. And I think sometimes when you're trying to describe Sosana, this ecosystem is so big and it's going to get even bigger and more powerful that it's like it's not walking into a store, it's walking into a mall, right? Where there's so many different things that you can select from. So you might say, well, I'm hungry. And I say, go to the mall. Well, I need some clothes. Go to the mall. Well, I need some electronics. Go to the mall. It can't all be at the mall. Yes, it's all at the mall because there's so many different pieces of that ecosystem. So I'm going to zero in on just a few things. The DGen voter system that Mark described. I said this before on a call, and I want to make this clear. The number one thing, the most valuable thing in business is information, right? And the rarest commodity in business or in life is certainty, right? It just knowing for a fact something is going to happen before it happens, right? When you know for a fact something's going to happen before it happens, you can capitalize on that without question. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about the DGen voter system. You know, some people heard Mark describing it, and if you're from the crypto space, you got it right away. You said, wow, man, this is cool, right? We get to nominate, we get to vote, we get to, pick great projects, and then they come out and tell the community what project won, and they let us know that, hey, an hour from then. So they let us know that project number 4 was the winner. They let us know that the 1% of the tax that went towards the voter DGen wallet is $100,000. And they let us know that in 1 hour from the moment that they told us that project number 4 was the winner, 1 hour later at 8:00 p.m. on that Monday, that the DAO is going to make a purchase of $100,000 of that small cap token. Now, again, Andrew, not trying to drive you crazy, just trying to say to the people that are on here that are saying, what's in it for me? If you knew for a fact that there was going to be $100,000 purchase of a small cap token 1 hour before it happened, I know for a fact that you can figure out what I'm saying. You know what you should probably do. You know what a lot of people are going to do with information like that and what that can mean for you. That's the first thing that's in it for you right there. If you're trying to say, what's in it for me? Why should I become a part of Sosana? Think about that for a second. If you can't figure it out, ask the person who invited you on. They'll figure it out for you. The second thing is, listen, there are hundreds, thousands of projects that are being launched every single day. Most of us have lives, right? We have hobbies, we have families, we have things we do. It is impossible on your own to sit back and just figure out every time a project is launched, let me go evaluate it, everything about it. First of all, you might not even know what the difference is between a good project and a bad project. That's one of the things you're going to be able to learn here at Sosana when you're in our ecosystem is we're going to teach you those kind of things, but you might not be able to figure out what the difference is, right? So what about this idea, that mastermind principle where, 2 minds create a third more powerful mind? What about 1,000 minds? Or 100,000 minds or 1 million minds? When you have that many people in this community and over a 2-week period, they're looking at all these different projects that were actually nominated, and they're collectively coming to, they're collectively agreeing, not talking to each other, right? We're doing this individually. We go vote, but then the group says project number 4 is the superior project. And guess what? You either voted for it or you didn't. If you voted for it, that's awesome. You're going to get a bunch of Project 4 tokens airdrop to you, which could have real value for building your portfolio. But even if you didn't vote for it, now that you know, wow, the whole group got together and they decided, they did the research for me, you can start building a portfolio with real assets in that portfolio, not the type of stuff, I'm saying the word stuff because I'm going to keep it family, keep it PG here, that is in most people's portfolios where you're simply looking at it and saying, how the heck did that happen? Like, what was I thinking? Why did I get into that, man? Wow, I really figured out the easiest way to turn $100 into $1, by simply buying these tokens, right? You can get away from that and start getting real asset accumulating value in your portfolio. So that's the second thing when you're going to be able to be a part of this. And then the third thing is our affiliate plan. And I want to talk to the networkers here for a second because I know so many network marketers. That's my space. That's where I come from. Spent a lot of time traveling out around the world, building, showing people how to build teams and everything. But this is slightly different. This is slightly different than that space. And I'll tell you why. When you're in a network marketer, you're thinking about, okay, how do I build the biggest team that I can as quickly as I can so I can make money, right? That's your thing, is you're trying to make this money. But you need to think a little bit differently here, because this isn't just about making money directly from your network marketing business. Like, hey, I sell this, I make $30. This is about asset accumulation. Remember, every single commission that you get is going to be paid in Sosana tokens. So if I was coming into this at the very beginning, if I just heard that Sosana last time started a tenth of a penny, it grew to 19 cents in 1 month, right? So it had this rocket growth. And then I just heard that there may be 50 to 100 times more people that are coming to the table right now. I would be in my brain thinking, you know what? If I go out right from the very beginning and I go out and spread this word as effectively as I can from the very beginning, what that means is that the commissions that I'm going to be paid in the beginning in Sosana tokens, those commissions are going to be infinitely, potentially, Andrew, I said potentially, so I think we're covered, potentially infinitely more valuable in just a week later, 30 days later, 2 months later, not to mention 6 months later than they are when I acquired them. Here's what I know. Every single network marketing company I've ever worked for, every single dollar they ever paid me, that dollar was worth less just 30 days later. That's what happens with the dollar, right? That's what happens. Dollars are worth less over time, right? We're not going to go all into economics and how they work, but we're talking about an asset. We're talking about an asset. And if you were really thinking, you would say, I want to get as many of these tokens as I can at the beginning, as quickly as I can. Mass accumulation. I can spend my own money to buy them. I can also go share it with other people and get them that way. And as I get them, they continue to grow faster and faster, potentially, right? Faster and faster. You can look at the dynamics of yourself. I tell you what we believe, but you're going to have to do your own research. But guys, those three things, the DGen voter system, having the ability to know something is going to happen before it happens and being smart enough to position yourself in front of that, the real ability to build a portfolio through a mastermind group, which is what this is going to be, probably eventually one of the biggest mastermind groups on the planet for being able to pick quality projects. And then finally, the ability to accumulate more of a potentially explosive growing asset as quickly as you can in a short period of time, in these compressed periods of time. Those three things right away, those are three things that if I were you and I was trying to explain to somebody why you want to be a part of this project, those are the three things I would focus on. And here's what I'll tell everybody that's here right now. That's still just the tip of the iceberg. I'm looking at Dave's face, and Dave is he's smiling right now and he's laughing because he's like, man, he didn't even tell him about this. And this, they got no idea. That's right. You guys got no idea, because that's just the tip of the iceberg, man. I'm telling you, there's so many incredible things that are part of this ecosystem that are here right now that are going to be in version 2.5, version 3.0. If you think your mind is blown right now, you're going to need a new mind so it can get blown again, because what we're doing right now, never been done before. But all I can tell you is all of these things that we're doing, all of the people we're going to appeal to, all of this growth is going to continue to not only hold people's interest, it's going to continue to attract new people, which if you understand how this works, it just keeps that asset building over and over and over again. That is where we're going to be, man. I'm telling you guys, this is incredible. So Dave, listen, I know I talked long enough, man. Sorry, I'm going to throw it back to you. I'm fired up. I'm just fired up. This is amazing.
Dude, you've got me absolutely pumped. I thought it was pumped before. That was awesome. You're on fire. And I can see the community is lit up. I'm reading the comments, so I can I can tell people are stoked. What you have to say. Hold on, let me mute out everybody here. Okay, there was some talking there. But listen, that was fantastic. Somebody wrote something about, can you let us know when they're going to sell? And the fact is, obviously that was a funny comment, but the fact is that we are creating an ecosystem. It keeps unmuting here, and I'm going to have to mute, unfortunately, everybody out again. Okay. Okay.
Dave, if you'll make me co-host,
if that happens,
I can help you mute him out. If you'll make me co-host.
Yeah, was that Keith?
Yes.
Okay, Keith, let me do that. Because it seemed like they were doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
Although it seems to have stopped. Keith, are you're not under your name?
Yeah, Keith plays something. Should be.
I'm going down to J and K, and I don't see it, brother. I don't know why. You're at the very top. Of course you are. Let's say make a host. Okay, there you go.
Co-host.
No, okay, co-host. That's new for me. I don't see co-host. Well, listen, they're good for now. I don't see co-host. I just see host. But listen, I don't want to stop the momentum here. But thank you for offering. If it happens again, I'll just you just tell me who it is and I'll find them. Listen, the fact is our community that we're building will allow us to all sort of lean on each other, right? This is no longer going to be the wild west, the frontier where we're the few and we're kind of out there alone, not knowing when to buy, not knowing when to sell, right? And that's what happened. It just became way too easy to launch a token on Sosana. I mean, Sosana didn't do it on purpose. I mean, they had the lowest network fees that were out there. Pump Fund, when it was added, made it so simple for anybody to just throw up a project overnight. There were literally tens of thousands of projects being launched daily on Sosana. It was an unbelievable amount of projects. Pump Fund made a lot of money. So Solana made a lot of money, but a lot of us lost a lot of money, and I was one of them. None of the stuff that we were investing in anymore was working. Just again, way too much supply, not enough demand. So when you look at a community where we can all communicate with each other about the same tokens that we've aped into, again, if you did not win based on voting for the token that won, you can certainly ape in to the token that won because that's where everyone's going. But there'll be chats going on in the forums. We'll be talking about what's happening. Of course, people that need money are going to sell when they need to sell. But for the most part, we're going to know what the community overall is doing. So when you're holding, we're holding. When we're selling, we're selling. So I just wanted to add that one piece to it. And look, like Brian said, there's so many pieces to what's been built, so many more pieces to what's coming. If you check out the light paper, if you go to our Telegram chat, I posted the light paper. It's 29 pages long, so but it's in big font and there's little graphics in there, so it's not too horrible. I think it's kind of a quick read. It's got nothing like the scope of work documents I created for the developers. Those were intense. You don't want to read those. But this gives I think it tells a good story for those who want to delve down deeper into what is here, what's coming in 2.5 phase. Right now we call this 2.0. So we have a 2.5 phase, we have a 3.0, we have a 3.5 and beyond. So this is going to be ever evolving. But right now, right here, you guys are in the very, very beginning of what we got. This is ground floor. When we first launched this, I knew I had something. Mark knew we had something. The whole core team, Brian, Reggie, Andrew, all of us knew that we were onto something. But it's one thing to feel confident you've got something. It's another thing to launch it and realize that everyone gets it. Guys like Keith Lacey, who has been there, with us. He might as well be a core team guy because he's in there, man. He's day one. He's just been a machine. And again, I gave you a kudos shout out on a previous private video I did, but again, Keith, you deserve every bit of it, and I really appreciate all that you've done. But he's not alone. There's many of you who have stepped up, and I love to see all the new leaders that have been shining here. But I will say this, there's never going to be another time for a founder's position. So it's $99 to become a founder. Obviously, that doesn't include the Sosana token, but what it does is it gives you a seat at the table in our directory, and a way to earn in the community. We'll be doing airdrops and contests, all kinds of things. It'll be opening up to you guys more and more as you join these calls. We'll be having them every day, twice a day, 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Not every day, but 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And that will lead up to the actual launch of the project. The remaining days of this week and into next week is major stress testing, just making sure this thing runs like a champ, right? We're not gonna make moves that are premature. I've been around long enough with tech and building tech to know that you need to make sure everything's working properly before we move to the next step. And that next step is an audit. And that audit, again, should not take more than 1 to 3 days to complete. And once that's done, we open our doors to the public. So it's coming, it's imminent. Brian, do you think that we should talk a little bit about the affiliate program and how that works between the DGen, the hodler, and the whale, or do you think we should table that for tomorrow?
I want to table it till tomorrow. Yeah, so we can start building up and we can start advertising, getting it packed out. But we're going to go through that tomorrow with some visuals to it as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. Beautiful. I'm glad I asked. Well, listen, it's rounding out the hour. But before, we end the call, what I'd like to do is give people the opportunity to ask questions. There's 146 people right now on the call. So let's first go through the chat. Are there questions in this chat, Brian and Mark, that or Keith, that you've seen that we should address?
Yeah, the only one I see here, Dave, is Michael is asking, when Sosana buys token on Monday at 8 p.m., will you eventually tell us when to sell as well? So I'm not really sure what he's meaning right there.
I think I took that as a joke. I did see that and I addressed it. I thought that was a joke because we're not a it's not the New York Stock Exchange where you can look at these companies and the money they're bringing in. They're not really publicly traded companies where you can track growth and understand metrics and things about how they're doing. So we're not going to be giving advice as to when to buy and sell a token. But what I was mentioning, if that really was a serious question, what I was mentioning is that there'll be forums created automatically. So when a token is nominated and wins, a forum thread is automatically created in that token name. And there will be chats and there will be a community built around that winning token. And I think that we're going to hit critical mass quickly. And what's going to happen is we'll be driving a lot of the growth of that token. And I think, quite honestly, what's going to happen is some of these token projects are going to direct their people to Sosana because they'll be able to hold court in their directory pages through live AMAs, team chats, and so on. And there'll be a lot of activity through the forum posts. So I think we'll have a good feeling. Unlike the kind of one-way line of a Telegram chat, we got to scroll up all the time to find anything out. This will be true discussions, like in a forum where you can find out and get a sense of where things are with that particular token project. And I think, you can assess for yourselves what makes sense to buy and sell at that point. But the good news is, this creates a breather for all of us, right? Rather than constantly looking for the next greatest thing out there and jumping from one thing to another with the shiny object syndrome. And that was really the parody, is making fun of ourselves. I'm just as guilty. We're all, most of us who have been involved in investing in these meme type tokens or just tokens period, we invest, and then we hear about another one that sounds even better. So we put money in this one, and there's only so much money to go around. So this gives us a little reprieve. We sit back, we wait, we do a little research in that 48-hour period, and you'll see the top 10 tokens. So you'll know out of those top 10, you've got the first winner, the first place winner. But don't turn your back on the other 9. They're going to get some love too. It's just going to happen, and we've seen that happen. We've fortunately been able to have a full month experiencing what happens. We saw the money that people were making from winning from the votes. We saw the nominators getting their money, the winning nominators. We saw the tokens doing well from that, not just the first place, but the 2nd through 10 were getting love, and that was with a very small sampling. When we, start to get that mass adoption and really hit that critical mass, I believe that we will be the platform for all of crypto, and that we will be the driving force and will allow all of these altcoins to finally get the real bull run it deserves. And listen, the timing is perfect, right? We've got a president that is behind crypto. We got the strategic Bitcoin reserve. It's going to be gold backed, fiat as well as Bitcoin backing it. We see where this is going right now, and timing I think could not be better than where we are right here and right now. So yeah, that was a long-winded answer to that question. Let me see. When can you get a founder's position, and when is the anticipated launch? Okay, so. As I said, this coming week, the remainder of this week will be stress testing, making sure everything is good to go. Once we know that we don't see any problems with the code, we're really testing it out and it's working properly. Then we hand it over to the auditors. Auditors give us their blessing. They might come back with, hey, we found this, that, and the other thing. Then we make a decision. Does it make sense to take care of that right this minute, or can we still launch and take care of that? So. We'll make an informed decision at that point. But the goal is that hopefully by next week we're in a position to start saying, okay, we're going live this date, and then everybody will know. We'll reach out to the community. You'll know about it. And once we go live, that founder's position really will be stretched as far as it can go. So right now it's 1,000 members and it caps, or 500 businesses, and 500 businesses and it caps. However, when we first go live, there's a 48-hour period window that during that period, it doesn't matter if 100,000 people come in. Everybody will get a founder's position. That is something that we will end up giving up as a company because it is a dirt cheap price. It was something that we talked about for a while. What would be some ridiculously great price, and everybody could say it's a no-brainer, $99. Why not, right? And so there's no recurring fees. You are a premium member at that point. We have a basic and premium level, and you're in it for life. So that founder's position closes when 48 hours is up. If those positions are not filled, if there's still member seats left, it'll stay open until those are filled. Same with the business founder seats as well. So hopefully that answered that question. Can I mute myself? Yes. Whoever said that, I'm on my phone, so I can't really read the name. It's like Rick, maybe.
Rob, I appreciate it. Hey, Brian, I really, I love that comment. My mind's blown, and I need a new mind to get blown again. That was great. A couple questions about the fair launch, because I'm very excited about all this. You said you're going to tell people the day it's going to be, but are they going to know it, and then you're going to let them know, like, how's that going to work? Like, you're going to say an actual time, like at 1 o'clock, or is it going to be that day and then we'll announce it and everyone jumps on? You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. So okay, there's two things going on. One is going live to purchase the tokens.
That's what I mean.
And the other, and the other is going live with the affiliate program, which happens to be both simultaneously. So, but yes, the token project will be a fair launch. What I'm thinking about doing is either through the community I'm going to come up with an answer to this. I haven't decided which way. I'll either turn on live the streaming system that Telegram has, where we can all communicate through there and kind of do a countdown to launch type party thing, or do it inside the community hub. So one or the other, but either way, there's going to be a time where everybody's going to know, especially if you'll get a link to sign up. We'll have your information and we'll push out notifications to everybody, not just through Telegram, but also through Twitter and through email, that we're going to go live at this day, at this time, stand by, and then we'll have that kind of a countdown so that everybody has a fair chance to buy in together.
I appreciate that. So that leads me to my last question, because I've never been a part of something that I believe so much in that I potentially see it's just going to run up, immediately. What slippage would you put it at? Because I don't want to not, you know what I mean? Like, what slippage would be a good slippage, you would say, so it doesn't just not go through? Because if everyone's jumping in all at the same time, what's going to happen?
What I've found, if you don't mind me saying, Dave, real quick, what I've found with those, when you're on a decentralized exchange with a brand new project and a fair launch, which you got to be really careful of. I want everybody to listen very carefully. And I'm really sorry some people dropped off the call before they heard this, because this is important. When you get to that decentralized exchange and we've fair launched, we've announced the contract, we all know that there's going to be a lot of chaos when that happens.
Right.
That's going to happen. Okay. You talk about slippage. Well, first off, I think the people that are going to struggle the most are the ones that are putting in, because I've talked to so many people that are like, yeah, I'm going to put in like 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever. There's a lot of people out there going to put in a lot of money.
Right.
When you go to a brand new fair launch and you start with a lot of money, sometimes it won't even let you buy it. Like, it'll stop you and say, no, price impact too high. And you'll feel this congestion. So what I would encourage people that are planning on investing a large amount, because they want to change their life. I mean, we look at this as an opportunity to change our life. We're not going to make any projections. We're not going to make any income claims, but we are going to tell you we believe in this thing. And I can tell you believe in it too. I think everybody here, with very few exceptions, believe in what we're about to do. This is very, very special. And so everybody wants to get all they can, and I don't blame you, man. This could be your last chance for all we know, right? There may not be anything like this ever again. There's only one Sosana on the Solana network, and it's here. And there's never been what we're about to do. But when you put in that money, be careful. Like, if it does that to you, go right back with a smaller amount. I can't tell you the exact amount to put in, but if you start with a few $100, maybe if you're right in there and you're looking at it, don't try to judge it. Maybe $500 at a time, $1,000 at a time. Just keep putting it in, whatever you want to invest. If you're there the first day, in my opinion, you're in a really good position. But again, I can't guarantee that either. But what I will tell you is that you want to be very careful when it comes to slippage. Yeah, if you want to program slippage, that's fine. But I think the most important thing is not to put in too much at once. Don't put in like 20 grand.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Launching,
break it into pieces. That's okay.
Yes.
The worst thing in the world would be to just keep trying and it's failing and failing and failing, and then it's going up and up and up. You know what I mean? Because again, one other thing, and then I'll mute myself, is besides the utility and the whole concept, which really is genius, on a sales side, because I'm in sales, you need great marketing. And this is the catchiest thing I have ever seen. Like, the website is beautiful. The Sosana name, the Rick and Morty. I mean, it's literally going to go viral. That's why I'm so it's going to be hard to go to sleep, for the next week or so. So again, well done on all this. And that's why I'm scared, the fair launch, I don't want to try to be putting in and I just can't buy it. And then all of a sudden it's, potentially quadrupled and I'm still not able to purchase. You know what I mean? But
yeah. No, hey, listen, when we were investors in our own project as well. So when we first went live, it was like 0.0007 or something like that. But there were bots and things that were front running us. Like, we wanted to buy in to it early, and we were struggling. It was just right before our eyes. It was going up by people who didn't care, just by people that wanted to buy it and then dump it at some point, and they got ahead of us. So we're going to try to, I don't want to take Kapil's eye off the ball, I have a list of questions for him before I go live so that we can try to mitigate some of these things from front running, these bots that kind of jump in front of us. So there's ideas that I've heard, I've talked to other people about that I'm going to ask them about. But this will be helpful for all of us to be able to buy in and get chunks because look, we're going to be buying in like everybody, right? We're also investors in our own project because we believe in it. And so we saw it happen right before our eyes. It just jumped and jumped, and then you couldn't buy big chunks. But we were able to get through, 1,000 here, a couple thousand there. So not a big deal. I think 5,000, you're probably okay. But there's an automatic market maker that is built into the DEX. It actually, through algorithms, it manages all of the buying, and it's really hard to understand how all those algorithms work. I've tried to decipher it through different, AI agents and things to understand, and it is sort of elusive that way, so that it becomes your guess is as good as mine. Where the price is going to be, because that price it's going to go up like a hockey stick.
Right.
But just like Bitcoin, right? You can still buy a chunk. I feel in my heart that Bitcoin, untethered, decoupled from the markets, will probably hit $500,000, $1 million or more. There's no reason why it should stop. Gold and silver have been manipulated for years by the markets. They couldn't manipulate crypto, right? It came too late. The centralized system. It's the one thing that you could actually see how it has soared since 2009 at 0.0008 to over 119,000 right now.
Yeah.
So you can still buy a chunk and still make a lot of money on it. Anything that is bought, in my opinion, in the first week, month, you're still going to be coming in at a point where you can buy what you buy. Listen, it's my project, so I'm a bit biased, I'd say, but I've never believed in something more than I believe in this. And I think that you could feel and hear the passion that's going on, that we were getting ready to hit that critical mass when the thing happened on, I think it was April 29th that it happened, or was it March 29th? It's becoming a blur, one or the other.
March 27th, you mean when we launched?
Okay, so April 29th is when we got attacked, when that happened. But we had people with hundreds of thousands of dollars lining up to buy the token. And it was happening. And that was with a small group. Now, this is going to be an avalanche. But because it is part of an ecosystem, and you need to look at us as more of a platform for the industry rather than just a token, I think people are just going to hold this. We have a natural staking model at $50 in your wallet. If we have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people all holding $50 and $500 to nominate, that is a beautiful built-in staking mechanism without forcing someone to stake. And then there's just so many reasons to spend money in our ecosystem, and that'll come out. We'll be sharing more and more information with you guys so you understand. But I believe that this could be one of those projects where the token just soars, and it's going to garner a lot of attention because this is no longer just a crypto story, right? This is a human interest story. The press, we've got lined up to push out there. We don't even need the press anymore, right? We've got an army of amazing networkers and people that are passionate about what we have. You can just see this. When does something like this happen where we got 100, almost, 200 or so people on this call, 150, whatever. We're just getting started, guys.
It doesn't happen. That's the thing.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So and that's without the marketing. We really haven't done any marketing. We've been completely quiet. I haven't pushed out a Twitter message in over a month. I've been completely removed in the past 3 weeks from from Telegram, because frankly, I'm working morning and night and day. All you got to do is look at it at the light paper, and you can see all that's been put into it. And I'm not taking all the credit, right? I have an amazing team around me. Everybody is outstanding that we have. You can tell they've been talking, and we've got even down to our in-house attorney. He's part of the core team. He's not somebody who just shows up for calls and I pay. He's literally got skin in the game with us. So look, guys, keep coming to these calls. We're extremely transparent. You know who we are. We're so many people would have run away. We're here to finish what we started and to fix an industry that we love and are passionate about. And so, I don't know if anybody's got more questions.
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
We can stretch just another couple more seconds. I know the professor has his hand up. If we just want to give him a second.
Okay. Yeah. I want to give everybody the chance. I'm not going anywhere, so I'm fine.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can unmute, sir.
Yeah, I've heard about you, man. I know. I'm looking. I'm glad to see you. In fact, I watched one of those calls, so I feel like I kind of know you already. So good to see you again, man. Yes. Yep. So tomorrow. Yes, sir. Yep. We want to give people around the clock different time zones throughout the world. We're no longer just a kind of a U.S. based thing. We're global, so we have people everywhere. We want to be able to be on all four corners of the earth, so people can show up on these calls. And we figured those two time slots really help many to come on. The calls right now will hold 1,000 people. We can add more if we need, but right now we have it set to 1,000. Anybody who wants to pitch in and help on these phone calls, just ask us. Reach out to us. We'd love to have some of the leaders show up. Because it frees us up to do some things that we're still doing as we kind of cinch up that little checklist of things we need to do as we're getting ready to launch. But yeah, Tuesday, 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, we'll have these calls. They'll get probably quicker and better as we go along with it. And, we would just want to make sure everybody gets their questions answered. But was that it, Professor, or did you have another? Sure. Go ahead, man. No, we're okay. It's all good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can I take a crack at that real quick, Dave?
Yeah.
Let me take a crack at that real quick. Excellent question. And first of all, I hope that you guys realize it's a testament to what me and Dave have decided from the very beginning. We take care of everybody. Nobody gets left behind. We all got hurt, and everybody's going to get made well. You got to realize there were less than 200 people probably. I think there was 222 holders, it said. Some of them probably had more than one wallet, right? So Let's just say 200 people, okay? What we're about to do is going to overshadow that so dramatically that we don't really have a big concern of like, oh no, but we also know that those people are really loyal people. These are people we've built relationships with. This is organic growth. This isn't just some community of people that just showed up out of the crypto world and said, I'm going to buy some Sosana. And then when it gets big, I'm going to sell it. No, these people all kind of joined in and agreed with our vision and see it like we do. Is there going to be some sell pressure at times? Of course, just like any token project. No one can predict that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you when that'll happen, when it won't happen. Nobody knows that, but I'm extremely confident in our community and the vision that we all share together and the integrity that we have. It's just, this is the best community I've ever been a part of. And I got to tell you something too. We have a meme coin industry where people are coming in and out. They're coming and going. They buy a meme coin and they sell it. They buy it, they reach their profit goals and they sell it. That kind of thing's not going to happen here. Because when you become a member of Sosana and you buy the token, you're not here just to buy it and sell it. Remember, there's something new every 2 weeks. I really believe that this is the kind of community that can continue to grow. I don't know. Honestly, it's almost scary when I think about it because we've never seen this happen in crypto. But when you provide this kind of value and something that's a reward every 2 weeks, which eventually with volume will be every week and so on, you have something new, something exciting. It's like a ground floor opportunity over and over and over, which in my opinion can potentially transcend Bitcoin. We know that when Bitcoin goes up, everybody's happy. When it starts dropping, everybody starts selling. I don't think that's the kind of thing you're going to see with Sosana. I'm not saying people aren't going to sell Sosana. I know they are. But what my point is I don't think that kind of trend is going to occur as much with Sosana because of what we have. So I hope that that overshadows any thought of like, yeah, some people are going to get airdropped some tokens because we're going to take care of them. We're going to make sure that those first investors, that when we rebuild that liquidity pool, they're going to have the value they had from day one, right? We're going to take care of those people. But as far as sell pressure, shoot, every one of them could sell their tokens over time, and I don't think it's going to make any difference with the kind of growth we're going to have.
Not at all. Not at all.
I agree.
You know, that was good. That was good, Mark. You know, I'll just add, you know, just to kind of reiterate, you know, Mark had mentioned it's probably about 200 or so holders, and they were holders, right? They had those tokens because, you know, we got rid of the riffraff. Well, they got rid of themselves. The ones that kind of front ran Mark and I, the bots, and the however they did it, they were able to get in front of us as soon as we put the liquidity in there and we went to buy. They got in front of us. It was unbelievable. I never even had experienced that. I've done a lot with crypto. I ran a blockchain company before this. Never was at the point where I was the one providing liquidity to start a project. It was an interesting learning lesson. But I will tell you that the people that will be airdropped their tokens, like Mark said, they're like family, right? They're the Keith Lacey's of our community. They're the guys that we kind of built this with. We locked arms and built that kind of ground floor infrastructure of people, if that could be a thing. And they were our community that we're building out. So I don't see them. If anything, I see that once the airdrop does happen and they look at this thing shooting up like a rocket ship, that's not the time to sell, right? You know, when your money is just growing and growing and growing, no one ever sells when it's going up like that ever, right? Unless you're really in a bind. I mean, you got to be in one hell of a bind to sell something that's going up. So I don't see that happening for a while. And
what's next?
Yeah.
Think about it.
So,
What's next? We're what's next. We're always what's next. That's what's so awesome about this. We're always what's next.
That's right.
yeah, exactly. And look, there's just going to be the beauty of this is there's so many areas where the treasury, the money is coming in through taxes and everything that we can support rainy days. That liquidity, I watched it grow. That liquidity wallet can grow nicely, and we can use it for market making and all kinds of things to stay strong. It's something that I think really all projects should do is have some kind of liquidity that keeps them stabilized. And so that's something Mark and I had talked about for a while, and that is our kind of our little insurance plan there for the company. So anyhow, that was a great question, by the way, Professor. Good stuff. I know you got more up your sleeve. What else you got? Oh, okay. That's very good. Nice. That's where you're at, New York. Okay. New York Times. No, I got you. Nice to meet you. Who else? Anybody else want to ask a question? You can unmute yourself and ask, or chat if you're not the kind of person who likes to speak in front of crowds. And feel free to unmute yourself to chat.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Hey, that phenomenal gentleman just speaking is my sponsor, T. Lamont. This is Jesse Artist. I'm trying to sign up, which I already got my link and everything. But when I go to create my profile, it's saying error. My wallet need to be connected, which is connected. I don't know if anybody else having that problem or not, but I said I'd address it while I was on the call.
You know, I have I've seen problems in the past with wallet connections, and a lot of times it has to do. Do you have a VPN blocker by chance on your phone, or however you're trying to log?
No,
trying to
I tried it
connect?
on my phone and my desktop, and both of them doing the same thing.
Do you have a VPN blocker on both? Because I keep one on both my phone and my computer.
Okay. No, I
Do you have
don't.
any? Okay.
No.
And what browser are you using to connect? Are you using Google Chrome or?
Google Chrome. I get with my sponsor. It's nothing that we're gonna be all right. Okay.
You know what we went through this. We went through this before. I'm gonna, if you go into the help section on Telegram, I remember we figured out this was in 1.0 that something like that happened, and we were able to figure that out. I can't remember what the solution was, but I will just say this as something that I would do right now would be to clear your cache in both your phone and or your computer, just to see if that helps. But
Okay.
David, could I interject? Because I was able to sign up with no issue, and I used the Chrome browser as well, but I put Solana in the wallet to make sure. So I don't know if it needs fees, Solana in there to cover fees, or just to push it through. But if you don't have money in your wallet, that might help if you put some in there.
You need enough money to cover the 3%. That
may be the problem because I don't have but $52 in my account.
Oh yeah. I see. There's not the 3%, because all you're doing is signing up. Okay, I'll chat with Kapil tomorrow. I don't think anybody should have to hold any crypto I mean, there is no Sosana, so it would be Solana. Let me get with Kapil tomorrow. So I'm sorry, everybody, if there's any problems. It's probably a Solana thing. You probably have to have 50 in Solana. You said you have 52 in Solana?
52, correct.
Okay. I'll get with Kapil. We'll get that straightened out. We have a standing call every morning, and I'll go over that with him and find out if there probably shouldn't be anything required just to connect in the genealogy. So we'll remove any restrictions from that. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's good.
No problem.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
Hello, David.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. This is Devon Wiles. I appreciate everything you've done. You, Mark, Brian did an excellent job tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just was wondering, I've heard that most of the projects are going to be on the work. I'm just wondering, do you have any plans to expand this outside of just projects that have been launched on Solana?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So, what we want to do first, the goal is to kind of cauterize the bleed out of the Solana network. But once we get this humming along, this ecosystem running smoothly, we will kind of move to another sort of branding along with Sosana that will be crypto community. I don't want to say too much because I don't want people's eyes to get taken off the ball. It's just going to grow. It's going to allow us to become blockchain agnostic, so that we can vote for tokens outside of the Solana network. This allows us to expand and do lots of really creative things, not just with voting, but the community, the education, and there's things I can't give away right now. Stuff that I just don't want to tease you guys with, because I know what'll end up happening is everybody's going to say, when's I come, and then it's a big undertaking. So there's an undertaking that will probably take us a couple, maybe 3 months or so to do, and into the six figures to build. But it's going to come, and it's going to be badass. I will tell you that. It's going to be amazing. And that will have to be across, the multiple blockchains and so on. So in answer to your question, right now we are Solana centric, Solana focused, but in time that will expand, and everybody who upgrades with us will not have to upgrade again to be across the entire ecosystem of crypto. You guys will all be grandfathered in, even after the founders. We won't recharge again for that. So it's all tied together. A good question. I hope you like that answer.
I do. What I was hoping for.
Good. Yeah, we gotta think big, man.
I do have another question.
Sure.
Mark somewhere in the chat said for swapping Solana for Sosana, he prefers Jupiter by far over versus Radium. I'm not familiar with either of them really. I mean, I have both, so I'm just wondering what the difference is and why he prefers that over Radium.
I think the fees were lower when we were testing it out. But quite honestly, I started to do things where I would swap inside the Phantom wallet, and I wouldn't really notice much difference at all, and it was easier. So I used to do Jupiter. It was sort of 6 of one, half dozen in the other ultimately for me. But you can always just test it out with smaller amounts. But I just found ultimately that I would just swap within Phantom, and it was simpler, smoother, easier.
Okay, so that's better. Just I have the Phantom wallet already, so just swap.
I wouldn't say. Well, the Jupiter was still using Phantom. You would just use the DApp within Phantom that would kind of take you to the Jupiter, platform, and you would just trade on that. It's not that complicated. You still do it within your Phantom wallet, but you still got to do moves, right? You got to go to the thing. You got to add the Jupiter, connect it, and whereas you can just within the actual main page of the UI UX of Phantom, just do it right there. And so I kind of stopped doing the swap through Jupiter at one point and just moved to that. So, but I don't want you guys to just take my word on it, because maybe it was a time of day and the traffic and this and that. So I think it's probably a good exercise to try to test it yourself and see which one is the better route for you.
And did I read that correctly in the chats that you're still anticipating on launching at like a tenth of a penny?
Well, I was saying before, it's hard for us to control what that launch is, because the moment we went live last time, we were front run by bots, and what we're going to try to do is mitigate that from happening again. We're going to I'm going to be working with Kapil on ways to block that. I mean, there might be some tricks we can do that stop them in the first minute or two with some ridiculous tax of like we tell the community, don't buy right now. Let's have a 20% tax or something ridiculous, and they won't buy. When they see that, it'll stop them dead in the tracks. And then, but I want to pick his brain on that. I've left that off because I don't want him to take his eye off the ball for a second on what he's doing. But as soon as he's done and he comes up for air, I just have a litany of questions before we launch. And again, trying to understand the algorithms of the automated market maker is near impossible. So to predict the launch price on a DEX is much more complicated than on a centralized exchange, because that's the price. Whatever you pick, you're not necessarily filling it with liquidity. It just it is what you set it at. So it's harder to predict that exact price. My guess is that we will probably be around the same price that we had the last time, and that's my guess. But I could be wrong.
Fast.
It's going to move fast. There's also a lot more tokens in circulation to take into consideration, right? We're going to airdrop tokens to those people, so that changes it. And it depends on the exact amount of liquidity that we put into when we go live. So there's a lot of factors that we're trying to work through. Kapil is an expert with that kind of thing. So I've stopped all my research that I was doing into it. It was hurting my head. between ChatGPT and Perplexity and Grok and everybody, they all had different answers. So, we will, at the end of the day, the price is going to be what it is. But either way you look at it, whether you have, 100,000 tokens at one price or 1,000 tokens at another price, that price when we first launched should, God willing, never be that price again.
Right. Yeah.
It should never be that price. Whatever the prices are in the first week or so, should always be behind us and never again. So that's when a project launches properly. And there's many of those out there. They just they continue to stay strong and climb and climb and climb. And I think we're going to be one of those projects. I really do.
Hey Dave, can we
yes,
just when this renders, can we just drop this this recording into the Telegram group, and then I think we're good to wrap up here, and then we can we'll be back at 2:00 tomorrow, and even take some of the information we got from here and make sure we include it in tomorrow's AMA.
And you guys that didn't get a chance to ask questions, definitely pop on tomorrow. We'll address any questions that weren't hit today. If you think of new ones, ask them. We love them. It keeps us thinking. And we like it's like a chess game, and I love the brain power on this. So thank you guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow too. All right.
Man. Thanks
Gonna have the NFT installed.
Good stuff, guys.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.